All right, guys, welcome back to the Money Talk Show with your favorite financial advisor, Chris Beecher. And yes, I look a little bit sunburnt. You know, I was on vacation with the family, guys, and I'm here back ready and excited. And just to let you know, you should always endeavor to take a vacation from a vacation, because vacation is fun, it's relaxing, but sometimes when you come back to reality, you are hella tired. And so I'm actually on vacation again this time, not at the resort, just taking some time to reset my mind and recalibrate and get ready to, just serve on you guys. You've been awesome, and thank you for everybody thus far who have liked and subscribed. Keep the comments going. I'm going to do a live with you guys for you guys to interact with me and to ask me any questions that you might have based on any of the material that we've covered so far. And you know that for the month of June, we're going in on budgeting and why it's so important. And as we said, budgeting is just simply telling your money or where to go instead of wondering where it went. So every dollar has an assignment, right, guys? And so I asked you guys as a preliminary to do an exercise last week, and I want to know how many of you did it. If you did it, raise your hands. If you didn't do it, you have the opportunity to do so, because June starts next month. We will be going heavy in on budgeting, and we say if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So the exercise was really for you to track your spending for an entire week. And so that means if you buy a ice mint, if you buy Starbucks coffee, even the menial spending that we do, the frivolous spending, when we stop at the stoplight, if we give the man at the stoplight a $50, guys, sometimes I tell people that don't take for granted those windshield wipers at the stoplight, because let's say, for example, you're coming in from Portmore. When you reach by 3 Mile, the man them going to stop you. By the man them, I mean the windshield wipers. And then further going up the road onto Hagley Park, you reach Halfway Tree. The first stop in Halfway Tree by the Anglican Church, the man them going to stop you again. By the time you reach round the corner at Bethel Baptist, the man them going to stop you again. When you reach at Devon House intersection, Devon House and Waterloo right there, the man them going to stop you again. By the time you drive further up onto Hope Road and you reach Sovereign, the man them going to stop you again. If you reach Papine or Mona, depending on where you're going, the man them going to stop you again. So guys, that's a total of 6 times minimum one way that windshield wipers are stopping you. And on the way back home, if you live in Portmore, depending on where you live in town, that's another 6 times. And if you think, say, them $20 there daytime, because sometimes you give them just out of the annoyance. Sometimes you give them because they say, well, boy, this one look needy, or this little boy look like him should have been in school, and you know. But you have to track every little bit of spending, because before you know it, oops, the money done. And of course, you've been tracking the spending. If you've been tracking what you're spending the money on, remember we talk about covering your 4 walls, which is very important in the budgeting process. And the 4 walls would be a transportation, that would be your food, right? And then we're talking about your utilities, like your light bill and your water bill. We don't want JPS and water commission cut off a thing, right? And of course your rent or your mortgage. So those are the 4 walls. So you have to make sure that you're covering everything. And of course we say pay yourself first. In the grand scheme of things, you want to ensure that you are putting aside your money for your little savings and emergency funds. First things first. All right, perfect, good. So you have done that exercise now, and I'm sure that a lot of you might be surprised that there are some leaks on board. By leaks, I mean that there's some little holes, there's some little foxes, there's some little habits that you might have picked up on if you did the exercise where you've been tracking your spending for the entire month. Because the greater part of budgeting is really mindset, is really getting yourself in the frame of mind that every dollar I have has an assignment, right? So the first thing you want to do when you're getting your budget down pat is tracking your spending, so that way you can actually look and see where your hard worked income is actually going among time, right? So now that you have an idea of where your money is going, right? You need to break down your expenses into categories. And again, that comes back down to the four walls. Those are the most important things. So these are what we call your fixed expenses, because believe it or not, if you are doing it right, your food bill is supposed to be pretty much the same every month for your four walls. Your utilities should pretty much be the same every month under your four walls. Your transportation, whether it's a gas or your bus fare or your taxi fare, that should be the same unless you're taking detours or you're going on a road trip. That should be the same every month. And your rent and your mortgage, that's pretty much the same every month. So you're breaking it down now into categories, right? With your fixed expenses, which are your four walls. These are the things that you have to take care of, right? And then we're looking on other tasks now, or other things in the budget that we can include, like subscriptions. You might have a package from Digicel or Flow or whoever your cable provider is, and under that package, you know that, all right, you have the bare bones minimum where you get maybe the news channel, a gospel channel, and one movie channel, but then you might have some other packages that give you some more shows or more sports and all of these other things. Things like subscriptions, you need to have those in check, right? Things like gym memberships, you have to have those things in check. Things like club memberships, like country club memberships. And guys, I'm going to even say this one. Things like your fish fry money or the little play money. Guys, you have to be careful when we're budgeting, right? One of the things I notice is that when we get paid a month in, right, we feel good about our money. But then there are also our friends who put in on the little round robin or the little fish fry that are also planning for income. So whilst it is good and well that we are giving a friend them a strength, or we're giving this group a bus, or we're giving this association a bus by buying some play tickets for them, we have to make sure that it falls within our budget. Because if you're not careful, you might find that if there are 12 months in a year, every single month the fish fry man them, the play man them, the round robin man them a plan for your income. And guys, when you talk about sponsoring and buying a food for a fish fry, we not just buy food for ourselves, we buy food for our spouse, we buy food for a picnic, the helper, everybody. You buy a play ticket, you go with somebody, you now go watch a play by yourself, you go a round robin, you go drink. So we have to be careful where our budget is concerned around support. And by support, I mean the fish fry man them. Another one of the places or areas that we have to really watch where our budget is concerned outside of the four walls, which are the fixed expenses, are things like entertainment. Entertainment comes in many forms. Food is entertainment. Some people go out and just eat chicken wings and entertain themselves, chat and have a good time. Some people go out every evening, believe it or not, in Jamaica to drink wine and just entertain themselves. Just drink a bottle of wine every evening, so, or every weekend, so, every Friday. Watch out for the happy hours. And I also don't enjoy yourself, because I like to enjoy myself. But I'm saying that when it comes on to budgeting, we have to be very careful, and we have to allocate how much money we're actually going to put towards drinking wine. So we're not going to drink wine 2 times a week, which is really 8 times for the month. If we're going out to drink wine, maybe we drink wine with our friends once or twice per month. Similarly, there's this culture of going out to drink. You go somewhere and you eat little, them invite you out and everybody sit down and whole a vibe is buying a queue. And you have guys buying a queue of liquor 3-4 times a week. Believe you me, in Jamaica land we love. That's 2-3 queues too much. And when you check your bill and when you really add it up, a lot of our income is actually flying out because of the habits that we have developed over time, supporting the fish fry man, going out to drink the wine, or going out to drink with friends, or going out to eat chicken wings just because somebody call you up and say, hey, what you doing? Make we meet up at XYZ. Let me meet up at the lounge. may go meet up on hookah. Like, you're blowing up your money. So outside of your four walls, which is a fixed income for your budget, which pretty much you know what those bills are going to be. What are the little habits? What are the little foxes that are eating away at the income? Another thing I notice now is that, all right, Jamaica open up. And as I said to you before, let's not pretend that COVID did not happen, because COVID still a keep. Mind you, you're vaccinated, you want do road, you've been having cabin fever, and now me I say everybody and them auntie I put up party promotion on every single billboard you can think about. Artists are flying, big performances at a lot of these shows, and yes, it is good for the entertainment industry. These guys have been caged up for a very long time, right? It's good for the economy, get money flowing, everybody eat our food, but at the same time we have to watch the cost of some of these events. I'm looking at events that are costing upwards of $400, right? I'm not saying that I'm in support of or I'm not in support of, but I'm looking on tickets for this big popular weekend in Negril, and tickets are selling for upwards of $350 for season pass. And one of these events, they're quoting it in US, of course, and one of these events, because they market for overseas, and one of these events, if you're buying one ticket for this particular event, so you don't want to go for the season pass, it could be from anywhere from $60 to $70 to $80 to $90 per event. I don't care if it's an all-inclusive. That is too much money to be spending on one particular event for one night, where you're going to be out for only maybe about 4 hours. Yes, you're going to listen to some music, dance, and whatever you want to do there, but we have to be careful of the amount of money that we're spending on entertaining ourselves. A lot of the times that money would be better spent if we put aside that money for a rainy day, if we put aside that money for a special project that we've been working on, or something that we want to execute, or even if you want to go on a meaningful trip or a vacation, put aside that money so you and your family can go out and enjoy yourself the right way. No, I'm not saying that you should not entertain yourself, If you have the money, by all means, spend the money responsibly. However, there are a lot of persons who are going into debt by going to these events. And I can tell you, even before COVID came into play, there are a lot of payday loan places or same-day loan places that would offer entertainment loans. Guys, taking a loan to entertain yourself, you should never be at that part. If you can't even afford the party ticket or the season band, remember you also have to factor in accommodation prices. Even if you're in a different room, you have to give something towards it. Remember, say you have to eat. And remember, say you're also covering transportation. And don't forget, if there are any eventualities along the way, guys, we have to be careful about some of these habits that we have of entertaining ourselves. Fine, we cover party. Let's say that you go to one of these events that you say you're going on a budget. Guys, I see some persons, right? And I not really watch nobody like that, I've never done it. But I see some persons going out and buying Hennessy. If you want to buy Hennessy, buy a bottle of Hennessy and have that at your house and drink it or something like that with your friends. You're going out and you're buying Hennessy for upwards of $40,000. For what? For them to bring it on a starlight for you? Guys, you are drinking away your income. And remember, your income is your most important wealth building tool. That money that you're spending for show, that money that you're spending for entertainment could be put aside for some meaningful project, something personal to you that you really are going to need one day. So guys, let's be mindful of the little foxes. Okay, so we cover things like entertainment, and I'm saying that, listen, the way I like to do it is to use the envelope system. So let's say that I get paid, right? I'm going to take out a certain percentage, or if it's not a percentage, I'm going to say based on the dollar value. Percentages for people's income who really varies. meaning sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. But if you have a fixed income, for so to speak, or you know what the income is going to be, you can put it in an envelope and say, all right, for the month, that's an envelope system, I'm going to spend $10,000 on entertainment cash. So that way you're not tempted by going out with a credit card or your Visa debit card, and then your friend them say, all right, we're gonna drink Don Perignon, and you say, yeah, and then you say, all right, bring it, come, and you swipe a card. No, your entertainment budget, you go into your envelope, and you say you have 10 grand, you will spend that 10 grand wisely, because remember, you budgeted this 10 grand for entertainment for the entire month. So anytime the 10 grand in the envelope done, that is when you stop going out. I don't care who call you. You're like, I'm sorry, I can't come out tonight. I'm cutting my parrot's toenails. I'm sorry, I can't come out tonight. My fish is drowning. I have to attend to my... Whatever it takes, guys, stick to your budget. It takes a certain discipline to do this, but I guarantee you, if you stick to your budget, right, and you continue to allocate the money where it should go, you won't regret it, and you can thank me later. All right. Other things that are variable in terms of what you call it now, your monthly expenses. We're talking about things like your kids' tuition, right? So usually that is a thing what them pay per term. So let's say that is $50,000 per term and it's 3 term in the school year. Guys, you have to budget for that $50,000 per term. Don't look at it and say, well, all right, it's $50,000 every 3 months, and every 3 months, based on the regular expenses that you had, you have to scramble and say, Lord, I have to think about finding little Johnny or little Susie's school fee. No, you already put it in your budget for the year and know that, all right, it's $50,000 per month. It could be more depending on where your kids go to school, but I'm just saying, using a figure here. That means that, okay, school fee is $150,000 per year, right? And if you work it out for say school fee is $150,000 per year, if you divide that by 12, you will know that, all right, your budget for your kids' tuition is really $12,500 per month, right? So with that in mind, for variable expenses like that, but variable expenses that are kind of fixed because you picking them up to go to school, whereas you don't have to go out drinking, whereas you don't have to go to a party, whereas you don't have to go out and eat chicken wings, your kids have to go to school. So you can budget out for the year for what the tuition is going to be and already allocate that in some kind of separate account. You get me? You feeling me? Other variable expenses that are fixed, so to speak, that you should consider is things like a car insurance. Car insurance can really creep up on you, right? Because here's the thing. You already have a car payment, so to speak, if you haven't bought the car in cash already. And then you see a car insurance coming over. You say, oh my God, $150,000. Where may I go find $150,000 from one time? Guys, you'd have already started budgeting and knowing, say, all right, $150,000. We broke that down for the year. That means that's really $12,000 per month, right? So from the last time you paid your car insurance, that $150,000, you have an idea that unless your premium is going to go up, that is if you had an accident, it may take a dip, or it might hover around the same amount. So you can already start to budget for that $12,000 a month, so that when your next car insurance cycle comes around, $150,000 don't box it off your feet. All right, guys? So these are just some of the tips that I'm saying that you can use to help you to budget properly. Because one, you already know what your spending habits are, so you can cut off the fat, trim the fat. In other words, those subscriptions that you know that you don't need, you need to find out what your noodle budget is, what your patty budget is. When it comes on to budgeting, you have to... My father used to tell me that the lowest form of life is being a student. When you're a student, you're broke. When you're a student, you're glad if somebody give you a piece of patty. When you're a student, you're glad if somebody give you a 5 bills, because that could contribute towards you buying a tin of bully beef or sardine, or it could contribute towards a bus fare or two. Who knows? So you need to know what your student budget is. You need to know that, all right, you was eating salmon, you was eating filet mignon, you were eating shrimp and all of these things. You need to know that based on how the income and based on how the economy is right now, if I needed to cut back on my spending, because I already have an emergency fund, we cover that. If I needed to cut back on my spending because I lost my job, they made my position redundant, because I got an illness and I needed to take some time off from work and the company said that they're not going to pay me, you need to know what your student budget is. You need to familiarize yourself back with mackerel and rice. You need to familiarize yourself back with sardine, patty, ramen noodles, crackers. Somebody know what I'm talking about? High five your neighbor if you know what I'm talking about. What is your noodle budget? And when you figure out what your budget is on a noodle budget or a patty budget, when you figure out what your budget is without the country club subscriptions, without the extra channels on your cable, without the big service plan on your phone, when you figure out what that budget is, right? The difference of that is how much money you could be saving towards a meaningful purchase. How much money you could be saving to budget towards a meaningful purchase. How much money you could be putting aside to help clear off debt if you have as a part of your budget plan. So guys, these are just some of the tips that I'm giving you, and I'm going to break them down even further as we go along in our next episode of the Money Talk Show, when we really get into the nitty-gritty of budgeting, right? All right. So basically, now that you have identified your fixed income, now that you have identified your fixed expenses, and now that you have identified your variable expenses, what you want to do is to basically add up the total cash for both categories, especially for your four walls, right, which are definitely your fixed expenses. Then you can see how much money it is really that is going out. And here's the thing, we talk about a zero budget. A zero budget is this: you get $100,000 for the month. From it take out your savings, from it take out your fixed expenses, from it take out your variable expenses. It should match back to zero. If it is that you're in a position where you add up all of the expenses that you have every month, right? And you have your income and you minus your expenses from that every month, and you're getting a negative balance. That means that you are spending way more than you make, and you need to adjust your budget. So that's when you go back to your student budget and say, I need to trim the fat off this. Noodles, patty, sardine, mackerel. That's the kind of thing that you need to be going on. If when you subtract your expenses from your income, you're in the red or you're getting a negative figure. And of course, when you've done all of these things now we can really start to talk about setting that budget. So guys, today what we really covered was the overall framework of how your budget should look, and we're going to go deeper into that. But we also touched on a little bit of the foxes and the little habits that are stealing our income or that are burning away into our budget, so that when the month comes, they say, oh my God, where did it go? I don't know where it went, right? So thank you for tuning in today for this episode of the Money Talk Show. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share with 5 other people. Guys, we're trying to grow this channel to 1,000 subscribers by October 30. I need your help, guys. If you found that this information was useful, just give it a thumbs up and drop something in the comment. If you want to reach me on Instagram for personal coaching, it's Christopher.Beecher625 on the gram. Big up yourself, and thanks for tuning in to this awesome episode of the Money Talk Show. One love.